get it right, let's get it right. Let's get it right, let's get it right. Let's get it right, let's get it right. Let's get it right. Let's get it right. You already know what it is, man. It's your boy Dealatofficial. And this is No Filters. Always appreciate you hitting that like button for me. Subscribing to the channel so you don't miss an episode and sharing this with the world. And of course, family, when you come in, get comfortable. Get you something to eat. Get you something to drink. Get you something to smoke if that's what you do. Cause you see the title, fam. This is different. This is crazy. Let's get into this here. Hold up, fam, this crazy work.
Hour and minute and second, and every long night has been agony since then of worrying about her and fearing for her, and aching for her, and most of all, just missing her, We know that millions of you have been praying, so many people have been praying of every faith and no faith at all, praying for her return, and we feel those prayers. Please keep praying without ceasing. We still believe. We still believe in a miracle. We still believe that she can come home. Hope against hope. As my sister says, we are blowing on the embers of hope. We also know that she may be lost. She may already be gone. She may have already gone home to the Lord that she loves and is dancing in heaven with her mom and her dad and with her beloved brother Pierce and with our daddy. And if this is what is to be, then we will accept it. But we need to know where she is. We need her to come home. For that reason, we are offering a family reward of up to $1 million for any information that leads us to her recovery. All of the information about this reward and the details is in the caption below. You can call the 1-800-TIP line. You can be anonymous if you want. someone out there knows something that can bring her home. Somebody knows. And we are begging you to please come forward now. We also know that we are not alone in our loss. We know there are millions of families that have suffered with this kind of uncertainty. And for that reason today, we also are donating $500,000 to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children for their work in helping families who are coping with loss and actively looking for those who are lost. We are hoping that the attention that has been given to our mom and our family will extend to all the families like ours who are in need and need prayers and need support. So please, if you hear this message, if you've been waiting and you haven't been sure, let this be your sign to please come forward, tell what you know, and help us bring our beloved mom home so that we can either celebrate a glorious, miraculous homecoming or celebrate the beautiful, brave, and courageous and noble life that she has lived. Please be the light in the dark. Thank you.
Response to that video last night from the family.
Right. I think they're playing this out. This is about all they have right now, and they are, they're making it very clear that they will pay. The question really is, and I'm very skeptical of this, is this really a kidnapping? Does somebody really have her, and is she really alive? And I don't think we have the answers to that question right now. I don't think her proof of life has been credibly authenticated at this point. So I think, you see them searching other places. You see them searching in the backyard there at that so-called manhole. They're still rounding out the investigation, and so I think they're giving some leeway for some possibility that this is not a kidnapping. And as I said, I'm very skeptical that it is one in the first place.
4 elite investigators, 4 identical doubts, all pointing a jagged finger away from the official story we've been fed for 22 days. Paul Cellino, a legendary Chicago homicide veteran with 35 years on the force. He's the only investigator CBS News and 48 Hours ever hired as an on-air expert. His work literally saved 5 men from death row. When Governor George Ryan cleared Illinois death row in 2003, he cited Cellino as a primary reason. Chris Swecker, a former FBI assistant director who went on national television to state plainly, he is very skeptical this was ever a kidnapping. Jennifer Coffindaffer, a retired FBI agent who told News Nation those ransom notes never added up. To her, they looked like tools to torment the Guthrie family, not tools to collect cash.
Well, first to the crime scene aspect of it, they could have found something as simple as a turned over cup of coffee or a dropped cup of coffee, or her purse was on the ground, or her phone was strewn in a place that they'd never seen before. But one thing I'd like to key on, if I could, is that even though the caregivers may be great people, what I always recommend to my clients, and I'm sure Chris does when he does his threat assessments, we always tell our clients to do a background check on everyone that lives in the home or is a close family member of the person you're hiring, because you have to look at that threat vector to determine who's doing what in that home. And the reason I say that is because even if the caregiver is just the most wonderful person, if she has one or more people in her home that are, let's say, a gangbanger or a criminal, or they're into some type of other behavior, they may just listen to their mom say, oh, today we went shopping and she spent $700 and she's so lucky and her kids love her so much. They may know a lot more than people realize. So I always advise my clients to know and understand who the people are your caregivers live with, because it is a vulnerability that I'm sure the police are looking at right now.
Jim Clement, a retired FBI profiler with 20 years at the Bureau. He issued a chilling warning. If this isn't about money, the motive behind Nancy Guthrie's vanishing is likely what he calls dark.
Fact that the victim, Nancy Guthrie, was at her home in the privacy and security of her own home, that's the lowest risk environment she could possibly be in, especially a home like this, set back from the road and having a good perimeter around it. So that means that to invade that privacy and security, that's the highest risk for an offender. So this is a very high-risk crime on a low-risk victim, which means that the motivation must have been greater than the risk that was taken by this offender. And so motivations are typically money. If that's the case, then it's a kidnapping. If they ask for a ransom, then that would qualify as a kidnapping. Otherwise, it would be an abduction. And other motives could be revenge, some kind of personal ideology, or for sex crimes. And yes, even in cases of a victim of this age, there are people who commit sex crimes. So we don't know what the motive is, but we do know that it was very, very high in motivation because they overcame such a high risk.
These aren't bored Redditors or clout-chasing YouTubers. These are professionals who decode crime scenes like we read the news. And when they study the Nancy Guthrie case, they don't see a kidnapping. They see a performance. Tonight, we put the kidnapping theory on trial and let the evidence reach a verdict. To be fair, we must present the strongest argument for the official narrative. The evidence isn't thin air. On January 31st, 2026, 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie returned to her Catalina Foothills home after dinner with her daughter, Annie, and son-in-law, Tommaso Shani. Her garage door shut at 9:50 p.m. By 2:28 a.m., her pacemaker app lost its connection to her phone. She hasn't been seen since. A doorbell camera caught a masked figure at 1:47 a.m., armed, gloved, and carrying a black Ozark Trail backpack. The camera was then blinded. Investigators found Nancy's DNA and blood on the porch. Her phone and purse were left behind. Sheriff Nanos stated on February 18th that Nancy couldn't walk 50 yards alone, concluding, whoever did this knew what they were up to, knew who they were after.
Things indicating to us that she was targeted, but we're getting a lot of leads thanks to you and the media, and so we'll look into those leads and see where that takes us. There's not a piece of information that we won't look at, and we'll take it seriously.
Then came the ransom. Demands for millions in crypto flooded media outlets. The family offered to pay. The FBI went into overdrive. 400 personnel, a 24-hour command post, and a reward topping $200,000. Even FBI Director Kash Patel and the president got involved.
Promised Savannah Guthrie's family the full support of federal law enforcement. FBI is down.
I'll give you a little statement. I think we're doing very well on that regard. You're probably surprised to hear that. I think we're doing very well. Very well, meaning we have some clues, I think, that are very strong. And I think we could have some answers coming up fairly soon.
Is this a nationwide search? Is this a search going to Mexico?
I'm talking about a search. I'm talking.
Okay, real quick, let's get right. You in here with your boy Dilla T and my fam. And this is No Filters. Hit that like button, double tap that screen. Become a member today. We're here to save your life. You can do this every day, Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. This is what we do, 9 p.m., Monday through Friday, here with your family. Never forget Super Chat in the building. Cash App in the building. You see the stickers in the building. We got the raffle. Never forget. Raffle. One woman, one man will win. A No Filters Classic hoodie. No Filters Classic t-shirt. Signed by your boy Dilla T. Sponsored by Nene Love Savvy TV in the building always. You understand what's going on here? Now, check this out with the rundown. Nancy Guthrie, the mother of Savannah Guthrie. Savannah Guthrie is one of the hosts of Good Morning America, right? Now, what's crazy is Savannah Guthrie, the host of Good Morning America, when the Epstein files came out, she was appalled. She also went on a rant, and she actually went on a campaign, as you would call it, to interview the women of the Epstein files. And at some point, it didn't really hit my mind that I seen this white older woman all of a sudden coming up missing in the world. But I was like, who is it? Because I didn't even know. It's like you just see this white older woman just, they talking about she missing, right? So as the days are going by and we in her meeting about Trump, Epstein files, Oprah, I mean, we going through everything, right, fam? And I'm steady seeing this older white woman. And I'm like, who is this? Because I'm like, first of all, in the world, why would, first of all, shout out to my content creators on YouTube. Whoever you are, I know some of you. But the fact is, the real content creators that's been doing this, that does this, that understand what it takes to do this, and the fact that they bring in the light in the darkness, shout out to you. People like Didi got a podcast. You know what I mean? Like people like Truth Is. Shout out to Jamal and them, you know, Trap Gang Ross. It's a couple of people. But the point I'm making about me saying that is because we can see a situation, but that don't mean it's really real. Or you can see a situation, but that don't mean it's really a situation. That means it's just something, but it's not a situation. Ruth in the building, Lori in the building, Chris in the building. So it's the difference. What I'm saying is right now, I'm steady seeing this white older woman on TV, not TV, I'm just seeing her on YouTube. And I'm like, who is this? And I'm not really making nothing of it because, again, people come up missing. People go through stuff every day, people. But people that have a name, a part of a royal family, a part of something going on, or a part of something, those are the people that are reported in the world. Those are the people that they shine light on. So in my head, I had to put two and two together. I'm like, hold up, wait a minute. Everybody is talking about this older white woman. And then I'm like, wait a minute. The only people that will talk about a person at this magnitude is that this person is somebody. So when I put that together, I said, okay, who is she? So now you got to look her name up. So then I look up Nancy Guthrie. And then I see that Nancy Guthrie is the mother of Savannah Guthrie, one of the hosts of Good Morning America. Primarily, she was the host that was next to Al when Al was under that MK Ultra. You remember that? Yeah, I tried to do it, but I couldn't last that long because if you up under MK Ultra or something, fam, you gonna be like lost. Theo in the building. But the point is that that's how creepy he looked. And he went longer than that. But the point I'm making it is Savannah Guthrie, the mother of Nancy Guthrie, was on the side of Al as he sat there and did that, Theo. So as I'm thinking about it, that further let me put 3 and 3 together. One, they're talking about an older white woman in the world and all the content creators is doing it on YouTube. 2, the only people that do that about is somebody that's related to somebody that makes sense in the world, that everybody has to look up to. 3, when I found out that this is the mother of Savannah, and that Savannah is one of the hosts of Good Morning America, primarily on the side of Al when Al was under MK, that further let me know that she's further familiar with what's going on in that world. So, fast forward, I think in my head like, okay, so now you got the lady, Savannah, coming out talking about, we miss you, we need you, please let you go, please come back home, we all of this, all of that. So now it's in abducted abductions, right? And then in my head, I'm like, wait a minute. Fast forward to today, she just put $1 million out there for her mother, right? And then two, right now in the interview that we just heard, she literally said that she's about to donate money to foundations. Now, one thing that just blew my mind is that you said you finna donate money to foundations, but yet you got money, $1 million to look for your mother. So now you just finna donate money to foundations? That was tricky to me, because that further let me know whoever has your mother or whoever has Savannah by her kahunas, it must be a powerful person, because all powerful people or all people that's in positions have foundations, charities. So whoever has her, he or she is making Savannah donate to that foundation. See, right here at No Filters, we read the headlines, and then we read in between the lines. Anybody that know in their right mind, if this woman just, look, check this out, Ruth, let's play it back. We're gonna play it back, and now we about to dissect it. Let's play it back and let's dissect it. Check this out.
Hi there. I'm going to say it is day 24.
Oh, I think she's
since
still alive.
My mom was taken in the dark of night from her bed. And every hour and minute and second and every long night has been agony since then, of worrying about her and fearing for her, aching for her, and most of all, just missing her, just missing her. We know that millions of you have been praying, so many people have been praying of every faith and no faith at all, praying for her return, and we feel those prayers. Please keep praying without ceasing. We still believe. We still believe in a miracle. We still believe that she can come home. Hope against hope. As my sister says, we are blowing on the embers of hope. We also know that.
Okay, now, look at the body language, right? Trip off this. She looks more stressed out than hurt. You understand me? Cat in the building. She looks more stressed. She sounds even more stressed out than hurt, because this here, you don't hear a situation of, because first of all, it takes a lot for you to even go public like that, go live and speak in that tone about your mother coming up missing. But the fact that your mom has no regard of being able to take care of herself in a certain manner. So it's really like you feel like she's abandoned. No one knows where she is. Your mother might not even know where she's at. She's so alone. These are the tears that are given and cried upon every night. This woman ain't crying at all at this point. This here starts to sound like more of a negotiation with the public, of just saying, I appreciate you all. We know she might come home. But she just put $1 million out there. But you telling me you know she might come home. That's one situation alone makes me further think that she could know what's going on, but you put the money out there to make us feel some type of way. Nene Love Savvy TV in the building. You understand what I'm saying? That's a big difference. When I tell you as you listen to, just listen.
She may be lost. She may already be gone.
She says she may be lost. She may already be gone. That right there let me know you got some ain't right. You got some ain't right. You better hear me. You think I'm finna be like, hey, she may be lost. And the thought of me saying that my mother may be gone in this fashion, I'm finna be pouring down and showing a level of emotion because I can't even accept what I'm about to say. Let alone I'm saying it on my phone to the world. There is no way I'm not finna be sitting there crying so hard just the thought of saying she may be gone. This lady is saying it as if she is informing us that she's already gone. Hear me what I just said. Listen to me. She sound like she is informing us of information as if she knows her mother is already gone. And this is how I know something ain't right. Think about this, fam. Look how early it is. Look how early it is before they just checking her out and just all of a sudden saying she may already be gone. Look how early it is. Look how early it is. This hella early. Time gotta go by, fam, before you just all of a sudden start talking about your mama gone and you ain't got no emotion to show behind it. Hit that like button, double tap that screen. Check this out. When you come up in here, first thing you do is hit that like button, double tap that screen, hit that subscribe button. It's free. Listen to me, double tap that screen. Double tap that screen. It's free. It don't cost nothing. Understand everything is alleged. Everything is really real. When you come in our house, take your shoes off, watch your mouth, get you something to eat, get you something to drink, get you something to smoke if that's what you do. But most of all, get comfortable. Make sure you smash that like button, double tap that screen, and understand subscribing is for free. Become a member today. We're here to save your life. We're going to read in between the lines because we bring light to darkness. We're here to inform, understand, and be aware. If it walk like a, talk like a, we know what it is. Now check this out, fam. Something ain't right.
She may have already gone home to the Lord that she loves. She may be lost. She may already be gone. She may have already gone home to the Lord that she loves.
Get him out of here.
And is dancing in heaven. She may be lost. She may already be gone. She may have already gone home to the Lord that she loves.
What?
And is dancing in heaven with her mom and her dad and with her beloved brother Pierce and with our daddy. And if this is what is to be, then we will accept it. But we need to know where she is. We need her to come home. For that reason, we are offering a family reward of up to $1 million for any information that leads us to her recovery. All of the information about this reward and the details is in the caption below. You can call the 1-800-TIP line. You can be anonymous if you want. Someone out there knows something that can bring her home. Somebody knows. And we are begging you to please come forward now. We also know that we are not alone in our loss.
She said he needs some
We know
milk.
there are millions of families
She said, yeah,
that have
Theo.
suffered with this kind of uncertainty.
He needs some
And
milk.
for that reason today, we also are donating $500,000 to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children.
Okay, now wait a minute. Hit that like button, double tap that screen. Did you hear what I just heard? That is the whole point of me going back. Did you hear what I just heard? She said, we about to donate 500 bands to the lost and missing kids. Now, this is confusion at its finest. Because you got one situation about everything going on in the world, Epstein, all of this, talking about kids, this, that, and the other. But your mama missing, and then you writing her off today, and then you putting $1 million up to find her, and then you finna put up $500,000 to give to a foundation that's talking about something about kids. Some ain't right. You understand what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, hold up, man, your emotion gone, everything gone, you writing her off, everything and everybody is over. Everybody gone. We're like, what? What are we doing? So that further let me know how deep it was and how far we gotta go right now, because at this point I knew someone right. And when I found out someone right, this is what I came across.
Of files publicly available by the DOJ mention.
Trapmore Gang, the kidnapping of Savannah Guthrie's 84-year-old mother, Nancy Guthrie, has sparked a whole lot of questions about some very suspicious things. The kidnapping itself is now being linked to the Epstein files. Some of Savannah Guthrie's reporting on Jeffrey Epstein and actually being involved with the victims of Jeffrey Epstein's trafficking is now being called into question, and a lot of people are wondering if this situation is actually directly linked to Jeffrey Epstein, the Epstein files, and the efforts to basically shut down anybody putting out information about the victims of Jeffrey Epstein. Now, if that's the case, I'm scared. But I'm going to break it all down for you guys in this video, any of the connections between the Epstein case, the kidnapping, and some stuff that is actually quite hard to ignore. So there's been some interesting TikToks going around about this, okay? And people have basically been saying that, you know, somebody suspiciously searched for her address prior to the kidnapping. And also, essentially, okay, they're saying that maybe that this is a direct warning to journalists that are reporting on the Epstein case, people that have reported on the Epstein case, people that have tried to expose the Epstein situation. And that is actually quite alarming to me personally.
Or proof of Grand Junction, Colorado's connection to Nancy Guthrie's disappearance. I told you yesterday, someone in the Grand Junction, Colorado area was searching Nancy Guthrie address before her abduction. Well, today I've got specific dates, more data, and I'll tell you right now, it gave me chills when I saw it. Those Grand Junction searches didn't just happen the day before Nancy vanished. They date back weeks. Digital records show searches for Nancy Guthrie address on January 5th and January 17th of 2026. But it goes even deeper. Search log shows someone in the Grand Junction area searched for images of Nancy Guthrie as far back as December 19th, 2025, again on New Year's Day, and then again on January 23rd. That's nearly 6 weeks of activity before she ever went missing. Think about this. If you wanted to abduct or burglarize someone, what would you do? You'd look them up. You'd want to know what they look like. You'd keep searching to see if there are new pictures of them, right? And the fact that this continued right up to a week before the abduction tells me this wasn't random. This was premeditation. And now, thanks to some incredible TikTokers, we've discovered that Grand Junction isn't just relevant to Nancy Guthrie. There's also a new, bizarre, documented tie to Jeffrey Epstein. Just this week, a local news station there revealed Epstein's Western Colorado connections in the Epstein files. In a new set of subpoenaed financial records, Grand Junction is mentioned in multiple money transfers connected to Epstein. 2 checks, both list payable to Wells Fargo Grand Junction right there on the bottom corner. Why Grand Junction? Why that bank? And there's more. According to recovered email exchanges from Epstein's own schedulers, one referenced that Jeffrey was, quote, interested in trips to Grand Junction. We already know Epstein traveled out west often, but this shows he had specific interest in this Colorado town that's not even that big. My question is, does Epstein still have associates in Grand Junction? And who the hell are they? Now, flashback with me to 2019. Virginia Guthrie, one of Epstein's most outspoken accusers, sat down for that haunting, unforgettable interview on NBC's Today Show with Savannah Guthrie. In that interview, Guthrie directly named both Epstein and Prince Andrew as abusers. She blew the lid off that whole circle of abuse for the world to see. Since that interview, Virginia took her own life, leaving Savannah as the lone survivor of the two. So ask yourself, Savannah Guthrie helps expose Epstein and Prince Andrew. And a few years later, her mother, a random 84-year-old Arizona woman, is abducted. After weeks of targeted searches from a small town Epstein himself was linked to financially and personally. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. In fact, I usually unravel conspiracies. But when I look at this, the timing, the digital trail, the Grand Junction-Epstein connection, I have to ask the tough question, was this a kidnapping or was it really retaliation? If the intent was to cause Savannah Guthrie maximum pain, to torture her psychologically, that would explain why the ransom letter never led to a proof of life. It would explain why the perps chose January 31st, a day before Savannah was supposed to fly to Milan, Italy, to cover the Olympics, one of the biggest gigs of her career. Maybe this wasn't a kidnapping after all. Perhaps it was something far more sinister. This information has been shared, as always, with the FBI. Somebody at Grand Junction knows exactly what happened. And to that person, if you're watching, the clock is ticking. We're closing in. Let's get justice for Nancy Guthrie.
This is scary as hell, okay? They're saying Epstein had connections in the area that they were from, and really the connection with, essentially Savannah Guthrie interviewing Epstein's victims all the way back in 2019 is a big part of this. So let me show you a little bit of that. This was an interview that was conducted just a month after Epstein's death. And I suppose maybe the powers that be, maybe the people that maybe got rid of Epstein, maybe, who knows, might have been a little bit upset that this story didn't just go away and die with Epstein. A month later, people were still dragging it up. People were still talking to the victims. They were still looking for justice. It might have been a mistake, what happened to Epstein. So let's just remind ourselves of what's going on with that.
This is everything. The only solace for me is that when a group of people who've experienced trauma of this kind come together united against a common enemy, there's a very special bond between us all.
A painful bond shared among these 6 women sitting together for the first time for an exclusive interview with NBC News.
I find it very comforting to be here.
Marika Chartouni, Anishka DeGiorgio, and Rachel K. Benavidez sharing their stories about Epstein for the first time on television.
I think the nature of this kind of abuse means that you're conditioned to be silent, to be isolated, secretive, and shameful.
I feel like, it was a big game for him. And we were the pieces of his game. And you're like, I'm just not going to say anything because that's what he told me to do.
The women all have familiar stories of grooming, promises, and then sexual assault.
I can relate to pretty much every person sitting here next to me.
Virginia.
So this is what was going on, okay? Savannah Guthrie was leading very serious interviews, okay? People were saying no one's been arrested besides Maxwell. Now Virginia Guthrie's dead. It is a little bit suspicious. And the way Virginia Guthrie went out was very, very suspicious, all right? I don't personally believe the official version of events, but that's just my opinion. Now, interestingly enough, okay, as of February the 17th, 2026, so just a few days ago from when I'm recording this video, local Colorado news outlets have actually also begun highlighting Epstein's established ties to the state of Colorado. And these ties apparently date all the way back to the 1980s, apparently.
Yeah, thank you, Hannah. Now, dozens of files publicly available by the DOJ mention Grand Junction, Aspen, Durango, and more areas across the western slope. Now, these ties include money transactions, ski trips, and victim testimonies. Millions of newly released files on Jeffrey Epstein reveal connections to Western Colorado. In November 2005, the state attorney for the 15th Judicial Circuit's Money Laundering Task Force in Florida sent online banking company Western Union a subpoena. Under a felony investigation, the task force requested any information related to transferred funds related to Epstein. Attached to the subpoena are 2 copies of checks, one for $100, the other for $75, both paid to Epstein. In the bottom left corner of each each check reads the words payable at Wells Fargo Grand Junction. The reason for these transfers and Grand Junction's mention is unknown. Grand Junction is also mentioned a few times in relation to trips to Aspen. One email chain from July 2012 involves an itinerary which brings the involved parties through Aspen or Grand Junction from Zorro Ranch in New Mexico. One email reading, have you heard of any other trips?
Nerdy Locks in the building. Everybody right now double tap that screen. Listen to me. Listen to me. When it comes to Epstein being alive, unalive, whatever, I never believed that he was done wrong. I never believed what they said was did happen. Okay? He is in a position to have to play it either by faking it or really doing it, because he just knows too much from every walk of life. He was behind with cartels, Soviet Union, military warfare. I mean, we talking about, we talking about so many different situations. Okay. So it's not, we're not gonna play like we don't understand. The basis of things. Because right now, a lot of these things you wouldn't have really thought of just because of how everything been played out. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't have thought of any of that because of how it's been played out. Hit that like button, double tap that screen. We cooking.
Like to Aspen or Grand Junction. Epstein visited Aspen many times according to these files. One email reads, wheels up at 8:15 a.m. tomorrow would give us arrival 10 a.m. in Aspen. Another, can you tell me, was it you and blank who went with Jeffrey to Aspen, Colorado? A financial report also shows art seemingly purchased by Epstein in Aspen in the early 1980s. Further south, emails between FBI investigators mention a victim of Epstein in Durango. This happened in 2019. Emails.
So look, he's still over there. He's getting victims over there. People are saying these Jackson Hole and surrounding areas are where girls disappear. They're saying they're going to investigate this. People are sick of these monsters. It is a little bit creepy, all right? It is a bit creepy when it links in to the Nancy Guthrie situation. Okay, so like interestingly, if you check Google Trends database, this measures the relative popularity of search terms on a scale of 1 to 100. It does reveal a spike for a brief search for Nancy Guthrie address, and basically it happened in Grand Junction, Colorado, and this was as early as December of 2024. So, okay, let's pull this up one sec. So this is a screenshot of basically the search that happened in Grand Junction, where it was actually Googled by somebody in December of 2024 for Nancy Guthrie's address. And then this goes back all the way 5 years. And obviously the people Googling it now doesn't really count because she'd been missing for a minute. So over the past 5 years, this doesn't count because it's recent, but like over the past 5 years, there's been several people Googling her address. This was in February of 2025. It's 56. That doesn't mean 56 hits, but that means like a 56% search ratio. People were Googling her address at the end of 2023 into 2024. This is just in Colorado. And even back in 2022. Now, it's interesting, right? Because at the end of the day, you know, these Epstein files getting exposed happened in 2019. And there's not really too much activity to point to, but essentially people had Googled her address over the recent years. And you know, that could be an indication that somebody was trying to find her location in the lead up to this kidnapping. It's quite spooky. Interestingly enough, it would appear that the same thing occurs 6 months before her abduction for image searches in September 2025, 5 months before her abduction. So this is image searches, I believe, for Nancy Guthrie address. And there is just a big singular spike here in October of 2025. Sorry, you can't see that because I'm in the way. But as you can see, people are on here in Grand Junction, Googling her address, Googling her images. And if we just go to straight Colorado, it's interesting, I won't show us that now. But as you can see, she is getting Googled. Her address is getting Googled. It is quite suspicious. That was a web search, image search. See, it's weird that Google Trends, sometimes they'll just kind of take your results away from you. Like if I just paste in exactly what I had here a minute ago, then see now it's disappeared. Now it's, oh, that's convenient, isn't it? That's convenient. Well, there it is again, because I took a screenshot of it before. But it is interesting, right? Google will be giving you a bit of info, then they'll be dragging it back, saying that we can't show you that. Don't even want to know why that's the case. But basically, okay, there has been, very, very few serious updates. And what's interesting is one thing to note. Now, apparently, basically, people are no longer trusting the FBI. Okay, this basically says a sheriff accused of letting his ego derail the Nancy Guthrie case as FBI pushes to take control. Now, there's pressure from the FBI who are very eager to take over the case, but there is criticism from the mainstream media because some people, not me, of course, some people think that the FBI have actually been part of some kind of Epstein cover-up. And if this is connected to the Epstein case, some people are scared. We don't even know if we want the FBI to be messing with this. Okay. So this says, as Nancy Guthrie, I'll be saying it wrong. Nancy Guthrie's loved ones anxiously await her returns. The investigation intended to provide answers has descended into turmoil. Reports allege that Chris Nanos, the sheriff overseeing the case, has allowed personal ego to interfere with the investigation, particularly through a recent wave of media interviews and his alleged feud with the FBI. The FBI is said to be eager to assume control of the case, but is unable to do so without authorization from Nancy Guthrie's family. So they're saying egos getting involved. That's a big claim.
Let me tell you what's really going on here, fam. And we got to say the word allegedly because that's just YouTube respect. Okay? Follow me right quick. I really feel like Savannah has pushed some buttons and some people is involved, and now those people are telling her to step back because she did some things they told her don't do, and then she did it. And because she did it, somebody paid a visit. When you heard dude earlier say that this is some type of money situation or some type of revenge situation, why? Because this is not a famous person that's missing. This is not somebody of world reflection. No. This is somebody grandma, somebody mama from down the street next door. What? And we over here going crazy? She got every news channel from here to Alibaba. What are we talking about? Something ain't right. That's how I knew something was janky. Because this is really a message sent to Savannah like, hey, yo, fam, sit down somewhere because you can be touched. Or we can just get rid of you and your people real fast. But right quick, let me just put your mom over here and sit her down for a second. Because don't play with us. See, this sounds like that. This feels like that. Because she's up here doing donations to child services and your mama missing. You doing everything but taking care of missing your mama. You putting $1 million over here. You talking about she might be already gone into the heavens with her mom and her dad. This 70, 80-year-old lady, she talking about she already might be gone and that's fine because she going with her mom and dad. What you know, Savannah? Bruh. I want to know what you know, Savannah, because you have clearly told on yourself at this point. See, we here to read in between the lines. I'm listening to her, I'm looking at her, and then I'm hearing what she's not doing. I'm going for what she's not doing. You're either going to do or not do. And I'm seeing that you're letting me know that you're not doing what you should be doing if your mother genuinely was abducted. Straight out of your house, blood on the floor, and a ring camera that shows a man that's masked up. That then came probably in your house, took your mama. What are we talking about here? That alone should make you feel some type of way every day. Knowing that you can play that footage back every day. Because between the hours of this and 2 o'clock, This man at your door at 1 o'clock in the morning on the Ring camera. That's different, fam. This is real different. I'm telling you right now, in my right mind, they know what they're doing. And again, she's not famous. She's not nothing. But then I found out your daughter the famous, your family member famous. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, this for Savannah. Because I'm like, who is this old lady? Like, if that was the case, you could have put my grandma on there, your grandma on there, they grandma on there, his grandma on there. You could have put everybody's grandma on there, fam. But I'm like, for some reason, why are we putting this grandma on TV? Because Savannah Guthrie is the Good Morning host of Good Morning America. And something ain't right. Something ain't right. And we know it ain't right because it just don't feel right. It don't sound right. The way it's coming off ain't right. The way she reacting ain't right. People going crazy about an old white lady. That ain't right. Let's keep going. Hit that like button, double tap that screen. You about to learn something tonight. Hit that like button, double tap that screen.
The sheriff overseeing the investigation has come under fire for allowing the case to turn into a personal ego trip. It's a common belief in this agency that the case has become an ego case. For Sheriff Nanos, said Sergeant Aaron Cross, who presides over the Pima County Deputies Organization. That's a pretty bold thing to say. Part of the reason Nanos is believed to have derailed the case with his ego stems from his decision to grant multiple interviews to news outlets. In those appearances, he appeared more focused on damage control than on providing substantive answers about Guthrie's kidnapping. While also giving the impression that he lacked a firm grasp on the investigation, the sheriff turned a serious investigation into a rolling spectacle, from questionable decisions to shifting narratives and a disastrous media cleanup tour that's raised more questions than it's answered, an anonymous source remarked about the case. Leadership in moments like this requires discipline, not damage control, the insider added. That sounds like it was written by ChatGPT, okay? So apparently the sheriff is reportedly not keen on having the FBI take over as investigations continue. Now, it depends for what reason. Says amid the ongoing controversy, the FBI is reportedly eager to take over the case. However, despite the agency's greater expertise in investigations of this nature, Nanos is said to be reluctant to relinquish control due to its long-standing feud with the FBI. According to reports, the feud dates back to 2015 when the FBI launched an investigation into the Pima County Sheriff's Department over the alleged misuse of civil asset forfeiture funds. At the time, Nanos had just assumed leadership of the department and went on to lose the next election the following year. He is now said to harbor resentment towards the FBI still, as he allegedly believes the agency played a role in costing him his election. It's widely believed that he thinks the FBI cost him this election. Cross alleged about Nanos, who returned as sheriff in 2020. So apparently the FBI is getting frustrated. It says nearly 3 weeks have now passed since Nancy Guthrie mysteriously disappeared from her home. Aside from a video of a potential suspect recovered from the home security camera, no substantive evidence has emerged. DNA material collected from a glove found near Guthrie's home has yielded no matches in the FBI database, and the same has been reported for DNA recovered inside the residence. All of this combined with Nanos' handling of the case has reportedly led to the FBI growing frustrated. Over 2 whole weeks into this, the police have made no leads, no progress, a federal source revealed. They were never confident in the glove. The press conferences are not going well. Giving press conferences without saying anything, it's not helpful. Okay, Sheriff Nanos' critics believe that the FBI should take over the investigation. So it says for the FBI to fully take over the case, the agency would require explicit permission from the Guthrie family, which has not yet been granted. Maybe they don't trust the FBI. As the public waits to see whether that will change, Cross, an outspoken critic of Nanos, has argued the agency should have led the investigation from the outset. The FBI should have taken over the case within the first few days, that we've been treating this as a kidnapping, and the FBI is the premier agency to deal with kidnappings in the world, Cross revealed, before emphasizing how Pima County's resources and personnel are limited. The FBI has way more resources than that, way more personnel. They should have taken the lead, in my opinion, and the opinion of many. We should have gone through a supporting role here. So it says, as the investigation into Nancy Guthrie's disappearance continues, Sheriff Nanos revealed that he had cleared her relatives and loved ones as suspects while calling people who tried to paint them as culprits. I don't think I really saw many people saying that. So we talked to them, we took their phones, we took their computers, Nanos said per reports. I mean, we did everything. We processed their vehicles, their homes. They have been really their victims. Okay, Sheriff noted how cooperative and gracious the Guthries have been throughout the investigation, but it does make you think. Have we got comments on here we can look at? Oh boy. What are people going to say? That sheriff also has a reality TV show regarding his police department and where they're located. Yeah, I don't think he's got Nancy's best interest at heart. I think he's getting all this stuff for the reality TV show. He needs to recuse himself of this investigation. People are saying, I don't think it was his ego. He was more likely his inexperience of working a case of this magnitude. He seems like a good guy, just not a sheriff experienced enough for this case. Until the sheriff says categorically that it is a kidnapping, I believe he is and will remain the person in charge. From my understanding, the FBI is the prime agency responsible for investigating kidnappings, not burglary, which is a city and state responsibility. So, there's a lot of suspicion around the FBI, especially in the way that the Epstein files have been handled. Now, interestingly enough, Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos has reportedly locked down the investigation, and he's strictly limiting the sharing of any information to only a few select insiders, and basically not letting the FBI know what's going on. So this is embattled Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos is under fire for locking down the investigation into Nancy Guthrie's abduction, limiting all decisions to just himself and 2 senior officers. It says Nanos, who is also facing intense scrutiny for sidelining the FBI, is only allowing Chief Jesus Lopez and Captain Juan Carlos Navarro control over the hunt for Today host Savannah Guthrie's missing 84-year-old mother. He will only let himself and 2 of his hand-picked staffers make decisions on the case, one insider said everybody else is being told what to do. No one else has a say-so or an opinion. It's just 3 men making decisions. It's incredibly unusual to do that when you have so many people working together and the FBI are involved, they added. It's limited to the thought process of 3 men. They keep everything from the FBI. They just aren't sharing. The source ripped Nanos as pompous and said that he's more focused on being in the spotlight rather than finding Nancy. It says Lopez serves as the department's second in command, overseeing daily operations, while Navarro, a senior command officer, supervises major cases and investigative strategy. Second law enforcement told the source, the outlet, that it's highly unusual not to have an experienced detective leading the probe on the ground. So no actual detectives are steering this, just command staff. This is highly unusual. Normally, an experienced detective would steer it and provide updates through the chain of command. So they're saying that the top dog is basically keeping this all for himself. But that doesn't mean that the FBI aren't still at least trying to dig into this. And according to some, the FBI is actually doing their own investigation into the abduction. So now we've got 2 warring investigations. So since the FBI now has photos and names of people they believe might be the suspects seen on the surveillance video outside Nancy Guthrie's front door, what appears to be a gun holster. They're talking to employees at local businesses and gun shops and asking them if they recognize any of their faces and names. CBS News' John Vigilotti has more info.
And names of people they believe may be the suspects seen on that surveillance video outside Nancy Guthrie's front door with what appears to be a gun and a holster. They've been going from business to business, including gun shops, talking to employees, asking them if they recognize any of the faces and names and if any one of those people made any purchases. Our team has been driving around going into gun shops. We spoke with one person at one gun shop that confirms he received a packet of a few dozen people. The photos appeared to be from driver's licenses and from social media. He was asked if he recognized them. He said he did not. He plugged their names into their own database. Nothing came up. KOLD, our local CBS affiliate here in Tucson, also visited stores and spoke with one person on.
Sir Learn a Lot said, you eating them candies got me wanting some. I'm trying to lay off the sugar though. Nerdy Lock said, I know, right, Jessica? Hit the like button, double tap that screen. Thunder in the building. Skyscope said, you trans. You said what? Trans. Somebody right now deal with this mother that just came in here. You. Let me tell you about you, boy. You know that ain't even know that. Let me tell you about you. You disrespectful, man. Y'all do a lot on this internet thing, boy, but ain't none of y'all in the city. Ain't in arm's reach. You gotta watch your mouth when you come in my house with my family. Watch your mouth. For real.
Camera, take a listen to what he had to say.
Tuesday to Thursday, one of those days that the FBI agent came in. This is all the information that we fill out. They don't have to put a phone number or an email. Anytime we get a firearm sent to the shop or somebody comes in to buy one, we have to add them as a customer because we got to get all their information for the 4473 form.
It's unclear where those photos and those names came from. We do know that the Sheriff's Department has had their own parallel investigation into the backpack. It's sold exclusively at Walmart stores. According to the sheriff, he tells me that Walmart handed over their own list of purchase records and names, but whether or not the two are connected at this point is unclear. This is day 18 of the search for the suspect or suspects and for Nancy Guthrie.
So it's really sad, man. And so Redditors have basically been discussing the conspiracy behind this. There's been a lot of connections with Epstein. There's been sort of very interesting, people noticing interesting timing of this case. It's all very bizarre. So this is a post on r/.
Because why is it connected to Epstein? Why is this older lady connected to Epstein? Why has somebody had to get kidnapped and it's got to do with Epstein kidnapping? So that means that just answer you. What? This is crazy. Think about so much, fam, in my right mind. And it almost make you emotional because I be wondering if tomorrow we might get that martial law. I mean, for real, like I be wondering, like for real, because everything that we keep hearing about, I be wondering, like, is we finna get like martial law announcement? Is we finna get like like close the schools down? Because I don't even know what people would do if they called martial law tomorrow. If somebody just kidnapped this lady publicly because they're trying to send Savannah a message, then okay, that's regular gangsters. That's gangster. That's gangster. What I'm trying to figure out is like, why they gotta cover it up like that? Because stuff like this, if we gotta kidnap your mom and go make her sit down somewhere, or wrap up this, or put this person over here and make them go shut up just to teach you a lesson, or if we gotta reach out and touch your family so you can shut the up, that's gangster. I mean, that's life. I think I'm blinded by people acting like this is like, oh my God. It's shocking to me because this is a news anchor, mama. This ain't the, what? This is the news anchor mama, man. What? You almost can say like, who cares? But that's the seriousness of it. We don't operate in that level. We don't operate on that level. We don't know what that feels like to be in positions like that where people got to snatch up our mamas because we in a TV lens and we're held accountable to where our family members can be touched. See, we used to that in the hood. We used to that in everyday life. But when you start talking about that's how the government operating, then by all means, that further lets me know that anybody can be touched because this is just a news anchor, mama. What? So it's a bigger message that's sent. But the fact that I know there's some powerful people, they making her talk. They making her read statements. They making her plead the fifth for her mama. And then they making her tell it like it is. Cause in my head, I know I feel like with everything in my soul and my body that she know what's up with her mama. I don't care what nobody say right now. You better hear me. This lady not even important. Like, who is she? Like, who give a? Like, what is this? Like, what are we doing? I mean, that's what's on my mind. Like, what is this? What are we doing? What is this? What are we doing? Why are we doing it? Who cares? Who is this lady? Like, and then the anchor of Good Morning America, who give a about her? I mean, like, I care about the people, but like, honestly, let's break this down. Like, who is she to the world? Like, nobody. She's a person that fully is aware of what's going on with the elite, with the people that's involved, with everything else that happens, but yet your mom has something to do with this now. And now you walking around looking like you depressed because you know what's going on. You're worried more than you or hurt for your mother. So trust me, family, it's a lot to unpack. But even furthermore, it's more for you to adapt to, because again, you can learn from an ignorant person that's faking deaths. You can learn from people that's claiming that somebody else's death when they know what's really going on. These things you can learn from. That's how important it is. We have to make sure we in tune and intact, fam. It do be our own blood that move like that cat. But at the end of the day, we got to be able to identify that. We got to be able to identify it. That's why we here. We here to learn. We here to inform, understand, and be aware. We here to read in between the headlines. We here to read knowledge. We here to bring light to darkness. We here to get knowledge. These are the things we learning on how to handle things. And every retarded scenario that come up, even this about, and look how retarded this is. This is Good Morning America anchor's mother abducted, kidnapped out of the house, and they don't know where she at. And now she over here giving $1 million for this, $500,000 to some organization over there, and she just sitting back waiting. So, again, follow me. We don't want to make it sit back and look like we know that it is sad, Cat, because you said it's sad. But let me tell you why. Even though it's sad, you almost got to be mad at Savannah because Savannah signed up for it. Woo! Let me say that again. Even though we look at it as it's sad, we know somebody signed up for this. Because somebody ain't just target this woman's mother for nothing. And on top of that, nobody knew that her mother even was on that level until it came out and said, hey, this Miss Guthrie, that's Savannah Guthrie mama. I'm trying to learn you something, fam. Savannah know what she's entitled to and then she's involved with. She also knows that we living in a time where the good is looked at as bad and the bad is looked at as good. She also know what she's involved with. So I don't really have a tear or a shirt of any fear of anything of hurt for her. Because again, you signed up for it and now you got to go through with it. And if you was built for it, then you already knew what the blocks was and how to put it together. Because at the end of the day, you can't sell your soul, but you can choose who you want to serve. That is the most biggest thing you can learn from me tonight. You can never sell nothing. It ain't what? You can never sell nothing. But you can choose and make a choice. And because of that, that's the difference between having to and choosing to. It's more value in choice. There's more value in choosing to do it that way. There's more value in knowing what you did because you did it in that manner. But in this case, Guthrie, the mother of Savannah Guthrie, trust me when I say this had to do with Savannah. This was definitely not on Nancy. I feel bad for Nancy because she was an innocent bystander to a situation, her daughter and people that she's involved with, for her to still be in the light, for her to still be in the camera, for her to still be on Good Morning America. Boy, you better hear me. I know what I'm talking about, allegedly, but I'm telling you, this ain't got nothing to do with her mama. This got to do everything Savannah. So everybody better shut it up in her thinking that they got something to do with this lady and we feeling bad. No, we feeling bad for this lady going through it. But at the end of the day, her own daughter. Her own daughter. I hate it for it, but again, they knew they was involved in. Knowing how they coming, how they going, and what they doing. Hit that like button, double tap that screen.
Conspiracy. It says constant Fox coverage of Nancy Guthrie.
Photo of Nancy Guthrie's kidnapper taken some days before she was abducted has resulted in no leads. We have been talking with FBI sources who are telling us that the way they got this photo was through Google, because Nancy did not have a subscription for video from Next. They were actually able to obtain it from Google the way they did the video. But because there's no video subscription, there was no timestamp on this. So based on their investigation, they believe that the photo could have been taken on January 11th. This is weeks before the kidnapping.
Whoa.
But they're not sure of that. It could have been January 11th. That is an operating theory. They are not sure of that. They want to make that clear. We know that they have swept the area for video from neighbors, anywhere they could get it. It has resulted in no leads with respect to identifying a vehicle or a suspect. They are frustrated about this. Now, I do want to say one other thing. Kash Patel had said shortly after the kidnapping that that photo was taken the day of the kidnapping. That is incorrect. We know that. It was taken before the kidnapping, but again, the operating theory, January 11th, they're not certain of that. Let's talk about Savannah's new video where she says the family is offering $1 million.
Trying to get money, that's crazy.
That it would be a miracle if her mom is still alive. We are told the FBI never told the family that the chances of finding their mom alive was slim to none. They never said anything about it. This is something that the family kind of came to terms with on their own, we're told.
Wow.
The FBI's $100,000 reward still stands. So $1.1 million is on the table right now, leading to the return of Nancy Guthrie. The FBI wants people to call it, not necessarily calling PEMA, because you then have two law enforcement agencies. You have cross signals, so it's 1-800-CALL-FBI. They want serious leads only, and they want to make it clear anybody who's trying to scam the government.
Nobody trusts Kash Patel.
They will be prosecuted
to the fullest extent of the law.
Last thing, and something I think is very interesting, is I spoke with one source from the FBI who said the reality is this is becoming a cold case. But that doesn't mean it's over. And this source was talking about something that we've seen many times, where you could have a kidnapper at a bar one night drinking and then bragging about what he or she did. You could have a girlfriend of the kidnapper at the time, who then becomes an ex-girlfriend who knows information and goes to authorities. Or that girlfriend could be the one to actually, go to a bar, go to a store, go somewhere, and either talk about it directly or insinuate something that is interesting enough to pursue. So even though this is becoming a cold case, and it is clearly one of the reasons why the Guthrie family has upped the reward, that doesn't mean it's over. As one FBI source put it, it just takes that one person, and they believe it's going to happen at some point. One person who opens his or her mouth, and the case cracks wide open.
And for Nancy Guthrie.
So it's really sad, man.
Now, that's the biggest thing. That's the other thing. And that's why we need to understand why nothing goes unharmed. Diddy is locked up right now. These people you didn't expect to be in position, but yet they are. Here we are. So we still got to understand that at the end of the day, there's nothing too hard for God. At the end of the day, there's nothing. There's a reason why it was brought to me and why I brought it to you. But hit that like button, double tap your screen and understand how really real this is. As always, fam, this is a real close one and a real one going on right now. I truly appreciate each and every one of y'all pulling up, making sure that we slide in and we slide out, making sure that we understand light in the darkness, informing, understanding, and being aware. That if it walk like a, talk like a, we know what it is, fam. Truly appreciate each and every one of y'all as always coming in, making sure that we got fam going, making sure we connecting on all tunes and all toes. At the end of the day, making sure that we know that you subscribing to the channel so you don't miss an episode and sharing this with the world. And of course, family, when you come in, understand, be comfortable. Get you something to eat, something to drink, and something to smoke if that's what you do. Cause you see the title, fam. Never forget you see the raffle. One woman, one man will win. No Filters hoodie, No Filters t-shirt. All you gotta do is lock and load it into the Cash App, lock and load it into the Super Chat, lock and load it into the stickers. That's what we doing. Cause you see the title, fam. It's your boy Dealatofficial, my fam. And this is No Filters. Good night, family. Truly appreciate each and every one of y'all. Be safe. God bless y'all.